Hey viewers, welcome to another episode of Tuyi the Movie Geek. I'm your host Tuyi. This episode we'll be talking about a controversial 1971 movie and its remake 40 years later. Today's episode, Straw Dogs, 1971 versus 2011. We'll begin with the original and notorious 1971 version of Straw Dogs. Straw Dogs is a 1971 psychological thriller directed by Sam Peckinpah. It's based on a 1969 novel written by David Williams titled The Siege of Trenches Farm. It's about an American mathematician played by Dustin Hoffman who moves to Cornwall, England with his young British wife played by Susan George, and they both end up getting harassed by some locals that leads to a violent climax. When this movie was released, it sparked an outcry because of its violent sequences and disturbing rape scenes. The movie was released the same time as A Clockwork Orange, Dirty Harry, and The French Connection, and all four of those movies were criticized for violent sequences, but it was really Straw Dogs and A Clockwork Orange that got into trouble because of the notorious rape scenes, and were both banned in UK for quite a number of years. Now, when I first saw this movie, Straw Dogs, I was very young. I'm not going to say how old I was, but I was not old enough to see a movie like that. After I saw it, I didn't like it at all. I hated every minute of it. I didn't like what I saw in the movie, and I didn't see it again until many years later when the movie was available to be purchased on VHS and DVD. I saw it again, and even though I still don't like the graphic images, I thought that was Sam Peckinpah's best work, and I loved Dustin Hoffman's performance. Now, I'm not going to recommend it to anyone unless they're fans of Sam Peckinpah's movies and Dustin Hoffman. But if you want to check it out, well, you've been warned. You're going to be very disturbed by all the stuff that happened in that movie. 40 years later, a remake of Straw Dogs was released. This 2011 version, directed by Rod Lurie, follows the same storyline as the 1971 version. Only difference is it's taking place in Mississippi, USA, as opposed to Cornwall, England, and the protagonist is a scriptwriter, not a mathematician. When I heard they were remaking Straw Dogs, I said to myself, come on, you guys can't top the 1971 version. And if you do want to remake it, at least follow the 1969 novel since it's different than the 71 movie version. But they chose to follow the 71 movie version. I saw it years ago, and I didn't like this one, but for a very different reason. I didn't like the 1971 version at first because of the disturbing graphic images. For this one, I didn't like it because it was just copying the 71 version. So it was nothing new to me. Everything was just the same, even though the violent climax was updated. But then I saw it recently on Netflix, and I thought that Rod Lurie did his best. I liked the performances by James Marsden and Kate Bosworth, who took over the roles from Dustin Hoffman and Susan George. And I also like the performance of Alexander Skarsgård, who plays the main antagonist and one of the culprits that assaults Kate Bosworth's character. Now, if you guys want to check this movie out, it's currently playing on Netflix. Even though you haven't seen the 1971 version, I think you should check this one out. Maybe you will like it, maybe you won't. That's it I have for this episode. I'll see you on another episode of Tuyi the Movie Geek.